Out of all the questions that exist in the Naruto fandom, one that seems to always pop up is how did Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, die? Out of all the Hokages who have given their lives to save the village, only the death of the first Hokage remains a mystery. For a very long time, the answer to this question wasn't readily available. Well, in today's Naruto Explained video, I'll share with you the official answer to how Hashirama died. Over the years, there have been many theories surrounding how Hashirama met his end. Some were flat out ridiculous, like saying Hashirama died of a broken heart after Madara Uchiha died. Others were very logical and pretty well thought out, like coming to the assumption that Hashirama sacrificed himself, similar to how Tobirama did, to protect the next generation of shinobi. Well, the answer was finally given to us in one of the many Naruto data books that were released. It's in the first Naruto data book that we learn how the first Hokage died. In the section for Hashirama Senju, on page 116, we learn that Hashirama died during one of the many wars that broke out after the establishment of the shinobi villages, which occurred just before the First Great Ninja War. However, what's interesting about all of this is that there was a mention of an illness, which I'll explain in a moment in detail in a second. If you'll recall, during Hashirama's flashback, which occurred during Naruto's fight with Obito, we saw how Hashirama bowed before the other village leaders in hopes of establishing peace between the ninja villages. From what we can gather from the first data book, Hashirama's death occurred just after this, as well as the failed assassination attempt by Kakuzu. We also know from the data book that when Hashirama died, Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage, was at his side. Hashirama's dying words to his brother were that he be named the second Hokage and that he wished for his brother to take a more tolerable stance towards the Uchiha clan, which we all know how that turned out. So, now that we know how he died during the time period of the First Great Ninja War, we can look at what caused Hashirama's death and what exactly this illness was that was mentioned in the data book. The likely answer lies with his famous ability for his healing jutsu, which regenerated the cells in his body and repaired damage done to him. We know from Tsunade's words, as well as from the data books, that there is a limited number of times that the cells in the body can split to repair themselves before they hit their limit, but most importantly, doing so will likely shorten the lifespan of the user. Hashirama lived during a time where battle was an everyday occurrence, especially during the Warring States era, which means that he would have been forced to use his regeneration technique more than once, which eventually would have drained away at his natural lifespan, despite the fact that he is a Senju, and Senju do have a abnormally strong natural body. Think of it like a candle, a really long candle in this case, with the flame burning. Eventually it will burn out, especially if the candle continues to have added heat and more powerful heat added to it. The more Hashirama used this jutsu, the more his natural lifespan was thrown away. We know that he used this jutsu enough times that Madara Uchiha was not only aware of it, but praised the proficiency in which Hashirama used it, which means that he likely would have seen the jutsu used a number of times. Hashirama fought many powerful shinobi, including Madara Uchiha multiple times, and Madara in control of the Nine Tails, which means that even with his advanced bodies, the cells in his body would have eventually hit their limit. This is even more likely when you consider the fact that Tsunade only used the jutsu sparingly, whereas we know that Hashirama used it little by little when he was alive, which likely would have sped up his death and is the illness that was mentioned in the first data book. Well, that's it for my Naruto Explained video today, guys. I hope you all learned something new. If you liked anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.